welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, that was dramatic.
Okay. I have to say, this week to me, while there was a lot happening on the beach, there was relatively not a lot happening.
I feel this deeply in my bones because though it was so traumatizing to watch,
yes,
when I was looking over the notes and everything, I'm like, oh man, you know what it was packed full of? Not so much of, there's the few main events, obviously.
Right.
But what it was packed full of was the deepest, rawest emotion I've ever seen.
Oh.
Just pure torture.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real here. The Love Island producers are the ones who really knew what they were doing. And because the Batch producers took a note and then shocked their contestants, we had just...
I mean, I guess I'll just talk a little bit about it right now because I will say I don't think that things went the way the producers thought that it was going to go. With them bringing the guys in, it was just a total flop, to be honest, on the women's end.
Oh,
total
absolutely.
flop.
I will say, so, of course, I'm going to keep harkening back to Love Island just because of the many seasons of them pulling this Casa Amor business.
Would you mind, by the way, kind of giving us a breakdown of the difference, but kind of how it goes down?
What we saw between, okay, so...
between Love Island and how they're doing it on The Bachelor.
So I would say it was pretty similar. Now, in general, when the new women were brought out in front of the men and the original men and original women, that is not typically a move that Love Island does.
Where the women are still there when they bring them out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So normally Love Island, they take the women or the men on a ride and they go, oh, we're going to go to a fun little girls' day or guys' day for you guys. And then they're like, surprise, you're stuck in this different villa. And here's a little video footage or a photo. And your men or your women are also, now there's 5 new men or new women in there.
Yeah.
And then eventually they bring in the new men or women for the people who had been removed from the original villa.
And do they also stay in the new villa with the new people?
Yes.
Okay, so that's pretty similar.
That's similar, but it's typically only 3 days, not a
Is
week.
that what this is? Yeah,
they kept saying a week.
I know they were saying a week, but I'm wondering if it's just a week episode.
Right, if they just kept referring...
An episode week, which generally is 3 or 4 days.
But if it was
obviously
truly
Love Island's
a
more
week,
in real time.
Yeah, Love Island is full real time. But if it was truly a week, can you imagine how rattling that would be? You're like, I've been here for 2 weeks.
No, not to mention it's just even if you're not worried about your other person, you're like, well, dude, I guess I'll just fuck around and do. I was just thinking of how absolutely boring it would be, especially stuck in the new place. They're not even on a beach or anything. They seem like they're in a relatively small environment.
I will say though, AC there.
AC and for sure.
And a very luxe pool.
Yeah.
And probably yummy room service.
Yeah, true.
But even that, they were saying, they're we'd rather be with our friends than our men on the beach.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, at the very least, it's just you've made friendships with all these people too. And then...
But the fact that they kept saying, it's been 2 weeks that we've been on the beach.
Right.
And now all of a sudden new women are brought in and they're going to be there for a week. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of these relationships were new anyway.
In the preview, which I think that my prediction already is I think Genevieve is, Aaron's going to stay strong. Aaron's pretty loyal actually and has been pretty level-headed.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've always been so entertained by Aaron. He's crushing it this season.
He's crushing it and also
growth, maturity. I love to see it.
Also appreciated how he was saying was it Lace? I think it was Lace where he was just I feel really bad for her for what she's going through. And I was I thought that was really mature.
Yes. And when they were all sitting there and Lace came down, Aaron was the one processing that. And then even in front of them and Lace, he was like, oh my God, I hurt for her.
Right.
When everyone was kind of shell shocked or laughing or trying to figure out what to do with the situation. He was quite concerned with Lace's
I know.
feelings.
I thought that was really sweet. But I do think that Genevieve is going to do exactly what she did to Justin and is going to go for a date, have a little fun, get her make out on, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure she'll feel torn, but I think that scene where we see Aaron going off on her is going to be because she has not remained as faithful as him.
I think that they are both going to remain faithful.
Okay.
But I think she's going to come back and not believe that he wasn't fully faithful.
That's good.
And then I think he'll snap because he'll be like, I did it. Like maybe she'll walk up and see him being playful with one of the women in the pool.
That's a good theory. That's a good theory. Okay.
But maybe because we didn't see her hooking up with anyone in the preview, that's the only thing that lends me to believe that. But you never know.
Isn't she talking about Alex?
I think that was Victoria.
That was Victoria.
Victoria was going on that date.
That was Victoria.
Because after a certain amount of time...
Yeah, Genevieve, who else would Genevieve be interested in? I guess you're probably...
I think she's
right.
like, nah, with everyone.
Yeah, none of those guys really seem like they're her thing.
So the only reason, the only thing I can think about Erin exploding is if she's like, you were being like flirtatious or not faithful when I was gone.
I haven't seen that clip of him going off in weeks, but I wish I could remember like what he's saying in it.
Honestly, too, maybe the way that they edited it, he's tripping with someone else. Maybe he's going off on one of the men.
True. It seemed like he was going off on her.
I know.
I think it might be that. Like she just keeps questioning him, keeps poking him. And maybe some guy that a guy comes on the beach later, asks her on a date, and she's like, I don't know, maybe I'll go. And then he freaks out about that.
Yes, that's true. We forget how many weeks we have left of this, that we'll probably still be meeting new people.
I wonder if
after the split week.
Was there filming longer? Like, why are there so many goddamn episodes?
I don't know. But, okay, so within the Love Island piece, so seeing the new women was a new thing. Also, there was something else that was different. Oh, this is a big one. So it's very similar, other than a few tiny little adjustments.
Okay.
One thing that was a big shift is that typically, let's just say the women, it's like exactly how it goes, right? The women are pulled from the original villa and the men get the new women. And then eventually the women in the new villa get the new men, right?
Sure.
The men will normally find out via like a photo or a delivery that the women, that there are men there. The guys still don't know. Because when Lace came down, I looked at Evan and I go, if I was Lace just to fuck with everybody, I would have been like, how are the women doing? Well, there's new men there. And just leave it at that and then watch the men just combust.
I mean, we're not lonely. I'll just say that. Say some shit like that,
maybe they'll find out at some point next week. But I really hope they don't find out until the women arrive again.
I mean, that would be wild.
That's
until the women and the men show up.
Because that's an interesting dynamic then for the men to be just thinking they're coasting with these new women, the guys who are being faithful to their original ladies, that they're like, yeah, I'm just bored here, not even thinking, and then all of a sudden be like rattled with like, what?
Even if, the girls just make friendships with the new guys, that's also like a weird dynamic. It's like, oh my God, we've been hanging out for a week now.
The thing about this episode, in so many different ways, my Libra these are the type of things that make my Libra brain just combust. And this always happens when I watch Love Island too. I feel every different side of everything.
Yeah.
It's like you feel happy for the people who are making new relationships that seem to be really working, but then you feel sad. It's like watching Rodney and Eliza. I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I feel terrible for Lace. But like, and then you're going, is there anything wrong? Or is this just producers? Producers are attempting to make villains and heroes, and yet it's just people not knowing someone for more than a few days and seeing what works.
I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong unless they made a specific commitment.
Yes.
That's what I think is different. If you made a specific commitment to a person saying that you guys were going to like stay true, which we didn't really see anyone on the show say that. Of course, there's unspoken ones.
Even though, I suppose I'm like, if a Brandon or Serene, that would feel. But they also told each other that they're falling in love with each other. So that's kind of
but I was sort of expecting to see like more conversations. I guess they sprung it on them real quick that they were leaving, but I sort of expected a conversation between like Aaron and Genevieve, for example, or maybe Logan and Shanae. Which, okay, let's talk about the first episode, I guess, before we get really into this.
Let's
wait,
dive in.
but anything else different from Love Island?
Not that I picked up on.
Okay.
Those were kind of the smaller things. And then, the only other thing I was thinking was the whole time I was watching it before we dive in is that I will tell you this. As much as I would be so caught up in all my emotions, if someone new walked onto the sand, that I was like, I'm actually really connected with this person, even though I have this other person. I would be, if I was one of the contestants, so in my head about
How you're going to be portrayed on
I'd
the show?
be so
Dude,
in
I
my
know.
head that
I know.
I just don't even think. I think if like a new guy walked in that I was vibing with, I would just be like, I will not kiss this person. I will have conversations.
I know.
I'll get to know them, but I'm too scared to be portrayed a certain way that I would
know.
just be like, I'm not gonna. I just can't go here.
Yep.
Which is what I think we saw a little bit with Andrew at the top.
Yep.
There was like that thought, like, I don't want to be all of a sudden, you know, the editing floors, like, you know.
Yeah, which I totally get that fear. I don't think that he's going to look like that regardless, because I just felt like him and Brittany were so, like, what, they made out, like, the day before that she left and all that sort of thing.
Clearly we see Brittany is vibing with a Tyler as well.
Yes, although, yes, we see that in the preview, right?
Yeah, because we'll get in there when we talk about Tyler and Shanae. I was like, I don't feel like Tyler was vibing with Shanae at all. I felt like he was clearly into Brittany much more.
Yeah, I think Shanae was trying to convince herself of the same thing, that she was into him. It was a little awkward. Okay, but Monday night's episode.
Yes,
that's
Monday
where it
nights.
all begins. Oh my goodness.
Where there is the one real villain of this season, pizza.
Dude,
Fucking pizza.
that that buongiorno bitches thing will haunt my dreams forever. I hated it so much. It was so scary.
Rewatching it. Remember when we talked about how we're like, oh my God. I'm like, I swear to God, there was fire behind him. I rewatched it. There wasn't. I'm still convinced there were giant flames behind him. Just the portals of hell. Just buongiorno, bitches. It was like,
Oh.
and then the irony that he's saying Brittany's clout chasing, and then he leaves with like a tagline for his restaurant.
Dude, I just can't with that guy. It was so just insidious and just gross. Because then even when she okay, first of all, Casey's tactic, by the way, to try to get a rose was
Casey.
hilarious. I thought he really had a good idea there, and then it really did. It did kind of backfire on him. And then the other guys too were like, why did Casey, you know, Andrew was like, I don't know why Casey went and told her.
I know. Which to me,
I thought that was weird.
I'm
actually
sorry.
that the guys were like, why would he stir the pot?
When we'll get into it, but
I
when
do love
he
Casey.
passed out because of anxiety, I've never been like, I relate to a human being more. I'm like, Becca, how many times have you almost seen me pass out?
Oh my God.
Due to anxiety from like a panic attack. And when, bless you,
Thank you.
and I'm also like, I don't care if that's someone's strategy to get in with me. I'm happy that person fucking told me.
Also, it's like, you guys are really going to complain about how you're going to get Peter off the beach sooner than later? Like, who cares?
Also, Michael did remind us later in the episode, which I don't know why I had fully blanked. This is obviously a trigger point for Brittany because on Matt's season, remember, she was,
Holy
it was
shit,
like,
that
oh,
was
she's
about
an
her?
escort. Yes. So she's like, I'm coming back round 2 and now I'm a clout chaser?
Which could not be further from the truth about her.
Brittany,
Based on what I've seen of her. So I'm like, what? And obviously everyone who Peter says it to is like rolling their eyes.
yeah.
Like
Which
no
is so-
one takes any stock in it. Thank God.
I think you mentioned last week, you were like, I'm so happy that Brittany's been on the beach this whole time so that everyone was like, Brittany?
Yeah,
Like this
okay,
gem of a
sure.
human? That's
Sure,
who you're
dude.
going to come after?
Yeah. It's not like Peter had a great rapport with anyone either.
Exactly. And also too, when he was just like, when he was talking to Aaron and he was like, listen, man, she didn't ask me any questions about me. I'm like, you didn't leave air in the room to talk.
Oh, he's just a full-blown liar too. Like she wouldn't
Full-blown.
stop talking about her Instagram, her TikTok. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm like, are you joking? You said she doesn't ask questions about you when you don't stop talking about you. She has nothing left to ask. You're already letting her know
I know.
everything.
I know. Ew, he was so gross.
he's been like the one person, we talked about this again too last week, but we're like, everyone we're like down with for the most part. This was the one person where I'm like, get out of here.
He's creepy.
Now.
His eyes are, he's creepy. He's a creeper. I didn't like any of that.
No. And then when he was exiting, where he was just like, for me, looks is definitely like the most important. Like if I don't think you're hot, I can't look at you.
He literally pulled she's not that hot anyway. The man pulled out every single like, oh my God, guy classic at the bar, douchebag guy on Tinder who gets rejected and is just like, well, fuck you, you're not even pretty. It's like, unreal. Are you joking? So juvenile. It's so embarrassing. But yeah, I didn't fault Casey at all for like bringing it up. I mean, I know it was a little bit of a scheme, but who cares? It's the name of the game. I have to say, okay, disclaimer, I know, and I felt so bad reading that apparently he's been dealing with it for like 4 months later, whatever. Like,
did you see the photo of Casey's ankle?
No.
Bro.
That happened from him fainting?
Yes. Which it goes to show. God.
Okay, I had no idea what they were talking about when they said he's been dealing with it for 4 months. I was like, what?
Well, after he passed out, and by the way, which goes to show you the adrenaline of the anxiety and fainting, that like he was laying there after he woke up for like 5 minutes and then was all of a sudden like, oh my God, like in so much pain. Let me show you this photo. It's he just posted it on Instagram.
Oh, that's all the pins that they had to put in his ankle? Oh my God.
There's like 14
How
pins.
How did that happen?
He hasn't been able to walk. He left with 3 broken bones. He's been in 3 surgeries and he hasn't been able to walk in over 4 months, dude. And he's like trying to have a positive attitude.
He felt weird on it?
We love you. Apparently when he fell backwards.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Which is horrible. Okay. And then I felt terrible because when he passed out, I was like, I see you, my guy, like passing out from anxiety.
And then fucked up his ankle. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, wait. That aside, I feel so bad for him for that. But
of course,
Gray and I were dying. We were around it so many times. We're like, imagine if he was using this as an out to distract everyone from fighting with Peter.
Like full fainting couch.
Just like, he's like, I don't know what to do to end this. Falls over. We rewound it and we were like crying, laughing.
Oh no, it was.
Oh my God.
Casey, we send you love. I'm so sorry of all the surgeries and the pain and all this horrible things that have followed. But when it happened in the moment, it was a level 10 iconic television moment. It was just, and then when you hear him saying like, I think I'm going to pass out. I'm panicking watching it because again, I relate to this so much. I will faint when I have an anxiety or a panic attack sometimes. And I'm watching it going, oh my God, someone sit him down. Casey, unbuckle your legs. Sit down right now. Stop standing up. It's hot. You're probably dehydrated. You're having a panic attack. You need to sit down. And then he's just, boom, hits the floor. Poor Everyone's guy. Freaking out. Of course, out of nowhere, you'd be like, what is going on? Like, is he okay?
Yeah.
But, okay, before we dive further in, because I have some thoughts as well on this whole the specific situation with Casey too that I've forgotten about.
Okay.
But you want to take a quick pause?
Yeah, let's do that.
Barades. Okay. Seriously, every time I look in the mirror in the morning, I get so happy because I didn't think that I'd ever be able to grow my hair out long again. You know, after years, I've talked about my hair issues and I just didn't think it was going to happen. And I had tried so many different products to help grow my hair. Nothing would work until I started using Vegamore. I think, what is it? Maybe it's been 8 months now. It has transformed my hair and I could not be happier with the results.
How long are you going to go?
Down to my feet, babe.
Yes, Rapunzel. Rapunzel is possible with Vegamore.
Yes.
I love that they've created an entirely new approach to hair health, and they use smart botanicals that are free of any harmful chemicals. You don't have parabens or added hormones that are in a lot of other hair health products. But even though it doesn't have all those nasty chemicals, Vegamore's Grow Revitalizing Shampoo and Conditioner Kit works together to help visibly thicken your hair from the roots, which is why we think that everyone could benefit from working it into their routine. All you need to do is shampoo and condition, just like normal. No special serums or oils. It's really simple. It makes it easy to stick to the routine, and you really see those results.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that my results have been like so drastic. I've been so consistent because they make it so easy. I will say a lot of the other products I had tried to be super complicated. It would leave my hair super greasy. I just couldn't keep up with it. And now I'm able to. I love just being able to use the shampoo, conditioner, the Grow serum. It's pretty much impossible to forget. And if you're unsure, go ahead and give Vegamore a try. There's no risk because you'll get a 90-day money-back guarantee with your purchase.
Give your hair exactly what it's been craving with Vegamore. Also, if you're looking for a dry shampoo, that I say this every time, that's not going to absolutely like choke you to death when you use it, use Vegamore's. I love their dry shampoo.
It's the only one I use now.
Go to vegamore.com/chatty. Use code chatty. You'll get 20% off your order. That's vegamour.com/chatty. Code chatty to save 20%. vegamore.com/chatty.
Okay, so self-care is kind of an all-encompassing term these days, right? Maybe sometimes for some people it means treating yourself to a manicure on a quiet Saturday afternoon. Maybe it means for some people a little extra glass of wine with that dinner. Or maybe it means turning off the rest of the world so you can get turned on with some sexy stories in your Dipsea app. With a little help from Dipsea, you can transport your mind to where relaxation comes easily, and self-care has never sounded better, honey.
Dipsea's one of my favorite apps. It is full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories. I've told so many people about it, and trust me, whatever fantasy you've got, Dipsea has a story to match. There are such a variety of different fantasies that are also really inclusive, and they bring them all to life. Like we have said it before, the voice actors are incredible. It's not corny. You have to see for yourself.
It's hot.
You'll get the code at the end for the free trial. So I say just like give it a shot. You have nothing to lose just by checking it out. And the team at Dipsea releases new content each week. There's always more to explore.
Yes. And while you're on the app checking those things out, be sure to try out all of their other amazing content that they have that Dipsea has to offer. I, for one, am a huge fan of their sleep stories. I've really been enjoying their sleep stories this past year. They're the perfect thing to help me wind down before bed, but they've also got a big library of wellness sessions and so much more.
For listeners of the show, Dipsea's offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/chatty. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/chatty, dipseastories.com/chatty.
All right, before we dive in, it's hot like paradise in here, so I'm going to turn the air on.
Go for it. I also want to talk about, like, do you see this shirt that I'm wearing, the fake bikini shirt? Oh. Look at how it matches my skin tone. I'm like looking in the monitor.
No, people, no, if you're watching YouTube, I can guarantee numerous people are going to be like, wow, Becca's really committing to this paradise theme. She is wearing a full bikini and the tees are out and they're looking good.
Oh my God. Broads, it's going to be 91. It's October 19th today, yes. And it's 91 degrees.
Where we currently are.
3 days ago, we had the fire going in the fireplace.
Yes, same. It was like 68, and it's 90.
How sad
it's
that
a
we
high of 93 today here.
Dude.
Confusing.
Anyway.
Okay.
Oh my God. We're staying on theme for paradise, you know?
That's very true.
We're staying on theme.
That's very true. All right. Okay. So this is one of the things I wanted to mention about Casey.
Yeah.
Casey, when he's mentioning this plan because of Brittany's rose, he gave Brittany his rose during the first rose ceremony, and we saw little glimpses of them cuddling and being all snuggly on the daybed. Yeah. So I saw random people being like, he's going to pull this whole thing just to get a rose. I'm like, I'm pretty sure
like there was nothing there.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, I don't care if he does because I'm glad someone told Brittany. Yeah. But also, I think something that's important to remember is I think Casey has a crush on Brittany.
Right.
He gave her his rose and he's been trying to, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, Pete, of course, his arch nemesis from Michelle's season, who he can't stand, comes in. Another thing I'd like to note about Pizza Pete is our king, Brandon, who never says anything about anybody. Last week posted an Instagram story.
Oh, I didn't see this.
With a clip from Michelle's season with Pete in it. And he was like, remember when... What was the guy who Pete and him were actually like arch nemesis, like with the jacket and the...
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
I don't remember
that
his
was
name.
awful.
But Brandon said, remember when he tried to tell you all? We all tried to tell you about this guy. And Brandon normally doesn't get involved in any of the drama.
He felt that hard, I guess.
He felt that. But anywho, with Casey, I think something that's important to remember is, again, even though I could care less if he was using this to get a rose, because I'm glad someone told Brittany, I think he has a crush on Brittany.
See, and then
Brittany.
And my thing with that, which is not unique to Casey, it's my critique of all the guys who don't have a solid boo. I'm like, come on, guys, get creative. Like I've said before,
get creative.
It doesn't have to be some huge romantic candlelit rose dinner. It could just you know, have some fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like I said, sandcastle building contest.
Yes.
Something. Come on.
Come on. There's just nothing.
Anyway.
But then when Casey did share with Brittany, another thing that I was like, hello, is you can tell when he told Brittany about what went down with Pete, there was no exaggerations.
Right, true.
It wasn't like, I got the vibe.
Peter was saying was crazy.
I know, but I feel like he even was kind of mellow with it.
I remember thinking the same thing. When he said it, I was kind of like, wow, you could have even gone harder.
I would have gone so hard.
And it would have been true.
And especially since we saw the clip then where we see that Peter kept talking about it with different people over and over again. So this wasn't even one isolated conversation, which would have been enough as it was. He was telling everybody on the beach this. Unbelievable.
Now, okay, I have to ask you this. Did you think that, unrelated, did you think that Shanae was going to choose James or Logan? I feel like I kept telling Gray, I was like, Logan.
Becca, you said last week, you've been saying it, that she's got her eyes on Logan. And I felt more in your corner, but I was a little unsure.
Really?
And you absolutely nailed that. Nailed that one.
There he goes. Poor guy. I kind of like James, you know?
You know what? James was getting teary-eyed. I think he really liked Shanae a lot.
I know.
He even said, he's like, in all of my time on Paradise, this is the only person that I've been really interested in. I was like, all the women he went on dates with last season at home were like,
I know.
Rude. But, rude. But no, I think he really liked her, and I was...
Yep.
shook to the core that the brotherhood would be broken up.
I know.
The bros have separated.
I know. And Aaron was like, peace.
Aaron, I was like, Aaron, fight for your man.
Some loyalty.
Fight for your man.
Stand by your man.
Throw your body in front of the rose podium and demand that he also get a miracle like Michael A. Demand this for James. Demand this for Justin. Get the miraculous rose.
Great segue, because I am so happy for Michael and Danielle. They're so cute. I, though, have never seen anything more produced in my goddamn life. The fact that she didn't have to go to Casa Amor. I mean, again, I'm so excited for them to nurture the relationship. I think it's going to last. I have high hopes. I see a lot of potential. Super excited for them. But I'm like, oh, come on. Of course, she's like, you bring her in when Michael's about to go home. You have no respect for the game.
Absolutely.
You know? He was about to go home. They bring her in and they're like, oh yeah, and she gets to stay for the week while everyone else gets separated from their boo thing.
I mean, I'm assuming too, she was probably supposed to be one of the Casa Amor ladies, and they last minute were like, oh fuck, Michael's not going to get a rose.
Sent home. Well, yeah, so many women self-eliminated that they probably were going to figure out how to coax someone to give him like a friendship rose. And apparently Wells tweeted that he literally went up and brought her down. Like, they didn't even show that cut of him being like, oh, I'm bringing someone in for you.
Wells is really swinging for the fences this season. He's playing fast and loose post that wedding, post that Modern Family money. Wells is really living it up.
He's just like, oh, what you also didn't see. Like, is this like, are you allowed to do this contractually?
Now, yeah, when he's touting the company line, I think he can contractually probably say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Okay. The Michael then Danielle piece with what you're saying, this was one of the many situations on this episode where, again, I felt deeply in my Libra spirit both things extremely.
Sure.
Where I am so happy for the two of them.
And everyone's been rooting for him. Everyone wants to see him have a happy ending, obviously.
And I love Michael. He, seems like a wonderful person. Obviously, Danielle is an amazing human. But then simultaneously, all I could think about was Sierra and the way that Michael, and again, we're talking about the edits with like how, you know, production can make someone look like a villain or look like a hero. And when Michael had his conversation with Sierra, in my opinion, instead of being honest with her and being like, I just don't see us working, and that's okay if that's the case. You can't, if you like someone, you do. If you don't, you know, whatever. But like, instead of just being direct with her and being like, I just don't see something working, that then the conversation started like, I don't think I'm ready.
Well, it's like, and it is a fair criticism that I've been seeing of like, okay, if you meant that, then why wouldn't you just go home?
Right.
Because if you were ready, like you said, if that wasn't, it's not like he lied, but I totally hear what you're saying. Because it's like, okay, if that was 100% truthful, that he wasn't ready for a serious committed relationship on that level, then what's the point of hanging around looking for someone else?
Yeah, and if I was Sierra, I would just be so frustrated watching this. Like, of everything we've seen of Sierra, she's an amazing human who was so receptive to everything he said, even when it was painful.
Right.
That
he could have just...
You could have been honest.
Broke it to her straight.
Be respectful and be fully honest about what's going on. And then I did notice at one point, though, when Michael was having a conversation with Danielle, he asked Danielle, he said, have you noticed that it's hard for you to try to balance finding happiness, but then not wanting to hurt people on your way to figuring that out? And that made me think that he was probably processing what happened with Sierra. And again, like, so happy for them, think he's lovely, all of that. But then also felt like I need to recognize this fact of like, if I'm Sierra, I'm so frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, yeah. And I don't think it's right, but I will say, like, I do feel like I feel like it is easy in certain breakups to like read between the lines and like know what the person like. And sometimes like he might have actually thought that though, you know, like I don't know if I'm ready. Did he say I don't? And he didn't say, I don't know if I'm ready with you. He didn't say that, right?
No, he did an ITM and he was just like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't think I'm ready, about the process in general, not with Sierra. So
well, then if he said it in an ITM, then that makes me think that he really thought that if he said it to Sierra.
I think he did both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, if he said it on his own, said that same thing, that makes me think that he meant that in the moment with Sierra.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like watching it, then of course too, I'm like, I can't imagine having to process through the grief that he's processing through and being in this circumstance, right? Where you're like,
let's be real also.
Yeah.
He may have, well, who do you think is saying, who out of everyone, probably even including himself, wants him to have a happy ending? Frickin' producers. They want him to be their star child happy ending. So he might have actually wanted to go home. Didn't see that, saw that cut. And I am sure if he had any doubts and was like, I don't know if I'm ready, producers are going, just hang in there. Just hang in there. I'm sure the right girl's going to come around.
Of course. Well, and obviously, like we see later in their conversation, Michael and Danielle, they talk via Instagram and have shared their stories with each other to the point where when she walked on the beach, she ran at her and was like, Danny.
Yeah.
Like we had a nickname going on. So Becca with the nickname, you're just like, no. But So obviously, like, you know, I'm sure that's who he was hoping to meet down on the beach. Didn't know if she was going to come.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. In the whole situation, I just felt so that feeling of being torn watching it, like,
Sure.
so not knowing what it's like to process through grief like that, being so filled with joy that Michael seems to have found, like, oh my God, this is someone that, like, he could have a future with, and that they're falling in love, but then simultaneously being, like, heartbroken for Sierra, like, not even being able to know how frustrating that would be, being like, I was told something, and now I feel a certain way watching this go down, when you're doing ITMs and being like, I need a miracle, and like, I finally found, you know, that would be really difficult.
Well, that was only 2 days after. That was 2 days after, okay? Things change in 2 days.
2 days, you know.
Things change in 2 days.
48 hours,
No,
my God.
I really do think, I'll play this side. I really do think he meant, and he was not just trying to cushion it. I do think he really meant that when he told Sierra that, and meant it in the ITMs. I think he was really feeling it, because I'll just even say, not being in his situation at all, I've totally been in points in my life. I mean, right before I met Gray, I was like, I am not dating anyone seriously this year. I do not want to get in a relationship. I don't want that. I don't need that right now in my life. I have full intention to focus on me. And then you meet someone, and then suddenly you're like, well, I guess I was wrong. So I'll hold to that. And I do think producers were gunning like nobody's business to get him to stay.
I mean, clearly they set it up for him. Like, literally, no Casa Amor. I mean, last minute rose.
Yeah.
Another situation where you're
waiting.
like, okay, let's remember then when other players are struggling that, like, you know, some players have it really set up easy. So there is a very different experience for some individuals versus others.
And it does make me wonder if producers were also perhaps egging on Sierra to go even harder and go even more you know, like, go even more serious, like,
like,
probably
he's ready. He wants someone to affirm that
he
they're
wants
gonna...
someone to know that they like, or like, exactly, to affirm like that they can. And she was probably leaning. And meanwhile, he's talking to friends and producers, going, I think this is happening a little too fast for me. Like we saw Andrew or someone else say, I don't remember who, someone else say, like, he feels like it's going too fast, which we didn't see that in ITMs or a conversation with her or whatever. And so I think producers were probably pushing her to go even harder and harder, because they had this storyline with Danielle waiting in the wings all along.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, to your point of what you were saying too, when I was watching it, I kept thinking about, you know, Michael has shared that, you know, Laura was the first person that he said, I love you to, the only person he said I love you to. And I mentioned this during Katie's season. I kept thinking about Evan, just because their relationship timeline has been like what mine and Evan's was, like, starting as teenagers and always just being together. And, I mean, it's I can't wrap my brain around it. And in this circumstance,
there's no way you're not going to compare everything to your
everything. And then, like,
person.
to your point too, saying, like, you know, there's these moments where you're like, I don't think I'm ready.
I don't think I can
and
never.
all of that grief, and like,
for sure.
And but then again, still acknowledging like how Sierra has to feel on this end. But then we see it happening too when he's having conversations with Danielle, and he's like, I think about how I remember meeting Laura, and this doesn't quite feel like that. And is that a problem? So even in these moments where he's like, I think this person could be like someone for me, I'm still in the back of my head through my grief thinking, like...
And time and grief is also going to put like a rose-colored glasses over everything. Like, not saying he didn't have that kind of connection with her, but also, like, I do feel like to a certain point, nothing's going to compare, because you've lost this person and you have all this time together, that suddenly it's like, it becomes almost like the love becomes almost like mythical proportions. Do you know what I mean? To the point where, like, a real flesh and blood person in front of you can, like, never compare to that person.
Well, and I thought it was so powerful when him and Danielle were on their date, where they were sharing about, which I'm sure, like, for people who have lost someone like this in their life, this is a really meaningful and powerful conversation to have on television, is that when they're discussing, like, and both saying, do you ever feel that guilt even in your happiness, like when you are happy.
Oh, and then she said that line. I lit a fire with the spark you left behind.
Oh yeah, from Grace Potter, yeah. And just that feeling of like like how with grief we're then struggling and working through like guilt, of feeling like, is it, you know, feeling guilty that, oh my goodness, I'm so happy with how my life has now become, and
oh yeah,
all of that. I mean, it's just so
heavy,
intense and so complicated and so
heavy.
I mean, seeing them together and the fact that they have both walked through such like deep pain, and also to her being like a neonatal nurse and all that.
She's older really too. How old is Danielle? I have to look it up.
Yeah, I feel like she's maybe like my age. Be 34, 35.
She's like best friends with Kaylee, who we've had on the show before. Did you know that?
Yes.
She's 37.
37. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think Michael's 38.
Let's see. What's his last name? Alio. Whatever. Oh, shit. Hold on. It looks like... Oh, yeah, he's 38, so they're only a year apart.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, wait. When I typed in his age, did you see this thing? Sierra feels disrespected watching Michael A. and Danielle. This is a headline on Us Weekly.
I saw some posts that, like, I think it was TikToks that she had put out.
Let's see. Oh, no, so she just tweeted, I feel highly disrespected. I'm going to go meditate. # Bachelor in Paradise. And she put # convenient. Sierra went on to call out Michael, revealing that he and Danielle had spoken before, tweeting, he said a little bit of history emoji with the eyeglass thing.
Like they probably, yeah. I mean, it definitely to me on the show seemed like they had quite a lot of history, even though they hadn't met in person.
Well, from what I heard word on the street from my insider sources was that she just reached out to him on Katie's season and was just like, wow, that's really special. And that they kind of like went back and forth and talked. But I don't think they were ever like a thing. And I definitely don't think that they had plans of like doing a thing on Paradise. I think that Danielle had been interested in him for a while, but I don't think like, I don't know. I don't think it was if the undertone is saying that it was somehow lightly orchestrated. I don't believe that personally.
I wouldn't want to speak for Sierra here because, you know, I could be fully misfiring. But what my thought was more than anything with Sierra's specific tweets was, because if we remember last week, when she left the show after Michael broke up with her, she tweeted the most kind, gracious things about Michael and being like, it's totally okay and all this. So and let's be real, everyone who leaves the sand is then talking to everyone. So she knows that Michael and Danielle, at least on the beach, were starting to see each other. Yeah. My guess is
Twitter.
It was probably quite jarring and upsetting to then hear whatever he said to her on the sand when he ended it with her compared to what he's saying in ITMs and when then Danielle shows up. So all of a sudden from last week going like, hey, have so much respect for Michael and then her being so gracious about everything to then feeling like I feel disrespected because I probably was told again, like, I don't think I could ever do this.
Sure.
And maybe it seemed like he was going to leave or something like that. And then the miracle rose and all of that. It's just a lot.
Let's see. Well, I'm looking on her Twitter, though, real quick. Twitter, I don't want to have a freaking account in order to view these tweets. I don't want to be on Twitter.
I know.
I deleted my Twitter a long time ago because of that.
I know. That's why I hate Twitter, as I'm like, I don't want a Twitter, okay? But I do want to be able to look at Twitter.
Right.
But it only lets me
I need to.
It only lets me look at it for like 2 minutes before kicking me out because I don't have a Twitter.
Oh, I love reading people's replies. However, as you know, a large portion of their conversation probably got edited out. He could have spoken about your time with him extensively, and the show chose not to show that part. Okay, I don't think that makes any difference, really. But.
No. Well, Sierra, you are a goddess, and honestly, I hope to see you back on the beach. I know the beach was dirty this season, but you were just a shining beacon. And
don't go back. You're You're better than this show anyway.
Like, seriously, I'm sure there is a line out the door waiting to date Sierra 24/7.
Yeah.
Just for my selfish reasons, I wanted to see her back on the beach because I loved her there.
Yeah.
And then again, and then also with Michael and Danielle, then they don't have to do Casa Amor. In fact, they come back once everyone has split up. They have no idea what's going on. But also hope the best for them too as they continue this on. It seems like they really might have found.
Yeah, I mean, it's just seemed, obviously from their conversation, it just is so unique to find someone who can understand like a portion of that experience. Obviously not the same experience at all, but still great for them. All right, moving on to episode 2 of the week.
Split week. Well, yes, the end of episode 1 into episode 2.
Down.
They have the franchise has named the ripoff Casa Amor Split Week. So creative. At least put a little effort into it. If you're gonna fully rip them off, at least put a little effort.
I didn't know who any of these women were aside from like Jasenia and there was like one other person. I had zero clue. I don't know any of their names.
Well, most of them are from Clayton's season.
Oh, we didn't talk about who went home, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Holy smokes.
So
James and Justin.
Yeah. I was so sad that Justin went home. I can't believe it, actually. I was really hoping they were going to pull through for Justin.
I mean, Becca, I'm not going to lie to you. I am like...
Well, and obviously Peter
I'm
left.
in shock.
They forced him to go.
Peter, bye-bye. Buongiorno, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Which, oh my gosh,
He's like,
by the way,
good morning.
Jacob's commentary on the fact that he's confused because it means good morning and it was 11 o'clock at night. And then in the next...
said that.
No.
It was Jacob? Wow,
Jacob
better,
was,
way better.
Jacob was truly grinding over it. And then in the next episode, when we see Jacob in that trance staring into the pool, all I was imagining was him just sitting there going, I think buongiorno means good evening or good morning. So why in God's name would he ever say buongiorno at 11 o'clock at night?
He's just good morning.
Truly
That's
grinding
so funny.
over it. I love that Jacob knows.
No, it means good morning, good afternoon, hello.
It still was the evening time, to his credit.
Also, why would you be saying hello? Like, either way, why would you be doing a welcoming greeting?
Hello,
like, good morning,
bitches.
Hello. No, it's more like bye.
But I can't lie to you, Becca. I am truly shook to the floor that Justin is being sent home. Of all the people that I imagined...
I like this new expression. Is that a fainting expression? Shook to the floor?
Shook to the floor. Shook to the goddamn floor. Because Justin, if I would have imagined anyone would be cleaning up in paradise, who would be a king of paradise because every woman would want to date Justin,
I do want to see him again next year. He is someone I legit want to see again. Because... yeah, I couldn't believe that.
I think it was really the Sally thing that really ended. I think they assumed him and Sally, because they had met before and made out before, that maybe Justin would also have a love story.
I thought that they were also, I guess the producers didn't have much rapport with Sally at the end of that. But I expected that they were going to be able to talk her into staying, or he would.
That was so iconic.
I felt like he could have put a little more effort into trying to make her stay too. Obviously not being pushy, but I still think he could have been like, come on, what if we go on a date? Or like producers give him a date card or something.
He could have.
Like that,
I also do think though, I remember when him and Sally were sitting together, he was like staring into the abyss, just angry, just like, fuck this. Like,
yeah,
I think
he was hopeless at that point.
He was in a place where he was so angry at production and the beach that they were just commiserating over how fucked up this all is. And then they didn't spend much, there wasn't much wooing time.
That's true. No, he really was like, this isn't going to work out in my favor. I'm a goner. He knew it. He saw it coming. Sad.
Wish we would have gotten a Miracle Rose for Justin, but here we are.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. Oh, well. So anyway, that's all who left.
Yes.
James left as well. We didn't even see a goodbye. I thought they would even do a silly goodbye between him and Aaron, but we didn't see that.
I know, what the heck? I thought that Aaron would be helping him pack. I thought they'd be crying together.
Yeah.
Aaron literally was just like, I'm really happy that Michael got a rose. Bye, James. I was like, Aaron.
I know.
You are going to have some explaining to do when you get home to James.
Tragic.
He's going to be like, what's this about, my guy?
Okay,
no fighting for me?
Tragic. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what are the names are of all the new women that are on the beach, by the way.
Okay, so we are joined by Jasenia, Eliza, Kate from Clayton's season. So Eliza's from Clayton's season. Kate is from Clayton's season. Sarah is from Clayton's season as well. And then Florence, I believe, who's from Australia, BIP.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of fun how they threw in the Australians, which both the Australians, I was cracking up in the preview, or maybe it wasn't the preview, maybe it was the end of the second episode, where the Australian guy was like, yeah, the energy here freaking sucks. Like, why am I here?
They're like, we traveled all the way here, and everyone
like, I had
to
be on an 18-hour flight to be here.
And everyone's just
flight
bummed the fuck out. Like,
Lame.
Everyone's just not.
Yeah, that was sad.
So
they get split up.
When the women show up, I was dying laughing at all the men. And then John even mentioned it. He's like, none of us know where to look because we want to look at the new women coming in, but we know the women are looking at us. And then fucking Victoria was making me laugh so hard in the ITM where she says, all these women are showing up with their now freshly blown out hair.
And we look like wet rats.
And she goes, I walked out of my room today and Johnny looked at me and said, why do you look so different? And I said, I'm not wearing makeup.
That was so funny. That was so funny.
She's like, it was the wrong day. Looking stunning as ever. Just like perfection.
Yeah,
but,
I was going to say, like, not to be the person that's like, I like one of those guys that's like, I like women who don't wear makeup. But one of my favorite things about Paradise is to watch everyone get slowly as the time goes on and the humidity continues to set in harder and harder. I like seeing everyone with their like natural fresh faces. I think everyone looks really pretty like that.
You know what one of my favorite things about Love Island is they all show up. Everyone has, full makeup. By the evening time, everyone, it's fully removed. Not more than 24 hours in, no makeup. And then always when it's the evening, they put their club dresses on and they full makeup again. But 90% of the time, day one, no makeup.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everyone looks really cute. So I don't think they have anything to worry about with that. Men don't care about your blown out hair. They really don't. Which is so funny. Like I did feel like the second episode this week really just was just funny in terms of like how stereotypically men and women can be different. Like it just all the girls were just like, no, like I want to go back to like the way it was. I don't care about these new guys. And then all the guys, even if they were missing their ladies, it's kind of like
well, it's hang time,
gorgeous. I mean, I won't mind like sharing some mango next to you, chilling on the beach.
We can eat next to each other and talk. Right. That's not breaking any rules.
Still enjoying the company of some gorgeous women.
All the women are sleeping.
They're literally looking at the shirtless men in the pool with like disgust by the end of day 2. Where they're just like, I hate you.
And I felt really bad for all the guys. Too. And I was also, speaking of being shook to the floor that we have like big players in Michelle's season, Rick and Olu getting brought in, and Jasenia getting brought in as like Casa Amor. I was just thinking
there was going to be big storylines coming from them.
Well, I also but I also am thinking about all of them having no idea and not being cast for this, right? Not being cast to be one of the 5 people that you end up finding out last minute that you have to be in this situation.
It's so awkward, especially for the guys. It was just such an awkward scenario where they're like, and they don't want to be pushy. Like I feel like you're saying on a show like Temptation Island or something, they know what their goal is coming in, so they play it up. I'm gonna steal you away from your man or from your woman, and I'm gonna go hard.
It's like, what are the rules? There's nothing
and
here.
Some of the women really want nothing to do with them.
And then I feel bad for both parties because I feel really bad that the men are feeling like, okay, I don't want to be pushy, but I'm also just like, I've been waiting for this and now I'm not having my moment. Then I feel bad for the women because they feel so uncomfortable and they're like, I don't know where the line is, but I also am like, I'm so nervous missing my person. But I mean, it's just
literally
torment.
The only person having fun at the end of it, from what it looked like, was Shanae. I mean, look, also, where's the fucking bartender?
Seriously,
Not to encourage, not to encourage loosening inhibitions through alcohol, but for the purposes of reality TV, they should have a bartender
It
in
needs
there
to be
going,
consistent.
shots.
It needs to be consistent. Yeah, at least get Jay Palmer in there. Have him do some goddamn work for once. Put him behind the bar in the ladies' villa. My God.
Right? Like, at least get them having fun with each other, with other girls. We need some pep in the step out here.
Yeah, we need some games. We need some music. I know we can't have the music.
Again, like Temptation Island, they're like, we're throwing a party.
Yes.
This is the theme. We're going to do this and that. It's a whole... Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Love Island, that's a great Love Island thing, is that Love Island, they have like regularly parties at night where they're like, it's like an all neon party, and they provide that for them.
Right.
Or then they give them questions like would you rather questions, or make them do truth or dare. So it always sparks more drama because all of a sudden it's like a make out truth or dare, and it's like, is someone going to do it or no or whatever? Right.
Well, that's how it used to be on Bachelor Pad back in the day. They could have thrown in some Bachelor Pad games and challenges. Why not? Some blindfolded kissing or something like that.
Yeah, not always just one-on-one dates.
I know.
That can be such a snooze fest.
Right?
Give us
It's a lot of pressure,
drama.
too.
I know.
Even if they took them out on dancing to like some salsa bar or something like that, and they have to like just go do a little, or what about like a high ropes course, and all 10 of them have to go out to the high ropes course.
Amazing. Or just let them out and let them go to the hotel bar and see what happens with all the random other attendees of the hotel.
God.
See if there's any random hookups there.
Well, that's what Gray was saying, sort of like Temptation Island. Gray was like, why don't they just like throw in people that like aren't from the show? I mean, obviously that's not what The Bachelor does, but it would certainly mix things up.
Okay. Goddamn genius. Unbelievable.
Ideas guy.
The ideas guy has created a way for the audience who is slowly getting so over the show to potentially have their chance and their time to shine by being like, just put your name here and you might get called to be one of the random people who gets thrown into one of these villas.
And the energy is going to be high with those people. It's like, that's kind of the problem, by the way, with throwing in the Bachelor people into the new villas is, guys like Olu, Rick, Tyler, whatever, they kind of expect for the women to throw themselves at them, right?
It's also like you saw me on my season, and a lot of you have posted about like thinking I'm cute and all these people, and now all of a sudden I just get thrown in.
They've been getting clout out in public and everything. I mean, it's no secret that some people get a little chip on their shoulder, and they're just, actually that's probably not the right phrase, but they get a little high and mighty about themselves in a natural way after one becomes a reality TV star, and it's probably not the vibe that they thought, like you said, they were walking into Paradise.
No.
They're not really on their A game in terms of, turning up the party.
No.
I was hoping for Australia guy to really get in there and whoop it up.
I know, me too. Just be like, we're turning this up.
We're doing
now.
body shots.
We're gonna do it now. Like, there has to be someone.
You don't have to make out with us if you don't, but let's have fun.
You know what I would have done
if you don't want to?
If I was the person in the most secure relationship, I would be like, I will facilitate this party. I am not engaging with these men, but I'm facilitating this party. Like, we're gonna have a blast. I'm gonna come up with game ideas. This is how I'm gonna entertain myself, so I don't go absolutely bananas thinking about if my guy is staying faithful to me or not. I'm gonna just be like, let's party, and I will facilitate.
I mean, Temptation Island again, season 3. One of my faves ever. Who's the curly-haired big guy? Football player dude.
Yes,
he had a great time throughout the whole thing. Never entertained anything with any of the women, but he was still entertaining and was having fun with the friends.
I think it's the only way that you can truly survive this type of situation.
Yeah, and why not try to have some fun?
Is that like, you gotta have fun, get to know everyone. You can get to know people without being flirtatious.
Totally.
Or crossing any sort of line.
Totally.
But then again, I think everyone's worried about an edit. Everyone's worried about them getting, potentially.
all you have to do though is just have a conversation, be like, I just want to be straight up with you. I am in a committed relationship with this person, but like, I'd love to get to more to know you. Maybe I can hook you up with one of my friends over there crying on the couch.
Ask the producers for a Sharpie. Take out one of your bikinis or your trunks. Write, I'm taken. on that.
Don't touch me.
And so that it's written all over you, and then just go out and hang out with everybody.
Exactly,
So you're like, I'm making
just
this
enjoy
clear
yourself.
so that every scene that I'm in, I have a shirt that says I'm taken on it. To just let it be known that I'm not, this is where I stand.
It does crack me up that both Shanae and Logan are kind of just going off and doing their own thing. It does crack me up that it is both of them.
Well, what was so funny to me is that when the initial separation is happening and the women are spiraling.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, apparently online, people were giving them shit being like, this is so out of control, like all the crying and sobbing. And I'm like, how dare you? The level of out of control I would be.
Yeah.
Is like, what? I would be losing my mind. These people think they know they're going on Bachelor in Paradise and they know the outline of the show for the past 7 seasons. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, after all this that we've already gone through, now I have to do this? No.
It's just lame. Like, again, even if I wasn't into a guy, I'd just be like, oh my God, I have to like go stay at this hotel and like just be separated. I was finally getting in a rhythm here with everyone.
Yes,
like
you're
that just
figuring
sucks.
it out. And then you potentially are then roomed up with new people that you don't know, so you have to start from scratch and you're like, I'm so tired. I don't have any energy to give meeting new people right now. I'm just burnt out. I just want to sleep.
Yes.
Totally get the sleeping situation.
Yes.
But the men are now having a conversation where Logan is like, I feel so torn because on one hand, she kind of tortured me last week. For
sure.
He's like, and on the other hand, I do like her. And I was dying at like Johnny and Andrew being like, dude, do it. Explore the beaches. This is what paradise is for. And everyone like being the devil on his shoulder being like, do it. Feel your feelings.
And he did get tossed around. So, I was like, get it, my guy. Why not?
I mean, I felt like, again,
Sarah, that's the guy. That's Sarah, the girl that Logan was with.
In this situation, and maybe, the audience would argue with me, but I'm like, the truth of the matter is this is Bachelor in Paradise. These people have only, again, known each other for a certain amount of days. And like you said, if there's no clear-cut boundaries that are set or like, I love you, or we're exclusively going to just give each other our roses and being like, and it's not clear-cut, there is a level of like, well, this is the beaches to explore. And I did feel like, to Logan's credit, that he didn't just, he was really torn up about it. He wrestled.
Although, as we see in the previews, Sarah is telling Logan that she feels like an idiot.
Forgot about that. And yeah,
I did too. I just read it in one of the notes.
Don't love that. But I didn't actually think he was going to end up kissing her. I thought that when he went on that date that because he kept talking about Shanae, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to do it. Well, he did do it. And then we see the other men saying to him, like, she's a great girl. Like, Shanae really did a number on you. Sarah's really awesome. Everyone's like trying to encourage him to ditch dating Shanae.
I don't know what it was about that conversation, but I still cannot get the Haley conversation. Gray and I both, we cannot get the Haley conversation with Logan out of our heads.
Of course.
And so I kind of think that Logan and Shanae, especially after seeing this, all play out, I kind of think they're well matched.
I agree. In fact,
I think the guys see, not that he's like evil to women or anything, but I think the guys maybe don't see like all of Logan's personality, because I think all the guys seem to act like Logan's like a total saint who doesn't deserve Shanae. But
how someone me for example felt about Logan just watching the one side where I was like, he's a nice guy, he's fun, he's got great commentary, but not, and then seeing like, oh well, then he was treating someone like this. Right. The question is, we'll see how he apparently wraps things with Sarah. That'll also be quite telling.
True, that's a good point.
That'll be quite telling.
Good point.
Now, my prediction is that Logan and Shanae keep coming back to each other.
Yeah, totally.
That they will leave the show together dating, not engaged. And then that at the final live episode, it will be a devastation tornado.
It'll probably be.
It will be so toxic.
Accusations will be thrown left and
It
right.
will be she cheated, he cheated. They got back together once they were off the beach, then broke up and got back together again.
Were we on a break? Were we not on a break?
It is going to be an absolute disaster between them. That is my prediction.
Yeah. Good call. Okay, let's talk about a couple other of the couples. We got to talk about Rodney and Lace and Eliza. We also have to talk about Jacob and who's his new girl? What's her name?
Kate.
Kate.
Yes, and then also as well, Shanae and Tyler and the Brittany.
Oh, sure.
triangle.
Let's talk about that while we're on the topic. I didn't think that they were like fully vibing with each other.
The second that Tyler and Brittany had their alone moment, I was like, oh,
yeah,
I think
this
they
is a good
really
match.
like each other.
Yeah.
And Tyler seems to really be vibing on
Yeah.
Brittany. And then when Shanae said, will you come on this date with me? He didn't seem thrilled.
Yeah.
And then we see him over the course of their acro yoga and pool date.
Yeah.
They start to make out. Apparently he gets a boner in the pool.
Yeah, right.
Shanae lets us know.
Oh, he also seemed to have one on the couch. He was holding a pillow over his crotch, sitting
Yes.
on the couch before Jill came in.
Jacob had one later. It was kind of boner city this episode. But the vibe that I was getting, Tyler has admitted, which I don't know why I'm saying admitted, has discussed that he went on Rachel and Gabby's season for Rachel because he fell in love with her watching her season, which means that
He also saw
Tyler
Shanae.
saw Shanae.
For sure.
Now, from what we know of Tyler is he's little Prince Charming and he wants this beautiful love story. So I think one of the reasons that he's kind of like not jumping right away on with Shanae was it's like, I saw how Shanae was on the season and I liked Rachel. And so, yeah, my vibe was watching it. I was like, okay, yeah, they're having a moment. So she's like, they're making out. But I'm like, he's going back to Brittany. So even when they went back to the house and they were like almost, she was trying to get him to the boom boom room.
I kind of think he would have hooked up with her.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I also was like, he will ultimately
It won't be
go
anything
towards
serious.
Brittany. Like,
Right.
it's not going to happen with him and
for sure.
Shanae.
And I think she would ultimately go back to Logan.
I fully agree.
Right.
Even though she said again with Tyler, she was like, I haven't felt anything like with Tyler. Like, I feel way more connected with Tyler than with Logan. And I was like, you also said that about James.
No, she's just saying that because she just wants...
You like Logan.
Yeah, she likes Logan. She wants Logan to try harder. She's going to keep playing the game that she's playing.
And let's be clear, we all saw Logan as soon as Shanae gave him her rose the next day when the women came and, you know, JP was like, how's it going? He's like, it's good. And he was back to like not trying. So,
dude, I will say I did feel for both Shanae and Tyler with seemingly drunk Jill rolling in to just whine about Jacob for what seemed like hours.
One of my most favorite clips of the entire season. I was on my feet. I was chanting Jill's name. I was like, this is incredible. But yes, I would have been frustrated. I would have been like,
we don't care. Leave.
When she came over and like just Jill making me laugh so hard with just like, and she literally goes, let's talk about me. And then Shanae says, do you want to go get a drink or something? Like, go ahead. And then she's like, can you believe how bizarre that Jacob, how bizarre. He keeps his athlete's foot cream in his pocket, this man. Do you think he's thinking about me right now? I mean, the string of commentary, I had tears rolling down my face. It was so incredible. Bravo, Jill. Bravo.
God.
Bravo.
It might have been better drama though if they had hooked up and then you know things with Brittany and all of that. But,
I know.
You know what
and
Logan.
You know what I wonder though too?
What?
I wonder if Jill was sent in by producers because they don't want Tyler to get a villainous role.
They don't want to tarnish his good guy Prince Charming rep. Good call. That is certainly
because where did Jill come
possible.
from? Everyone else is sleeping and she just comes out of nowhere.
Certainly possible.
Interesting.
Certainly possible. Anyway, Jill and Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob is forgotten about Jill altogether.
This man leads with only one thing.
And that is his penis.
And that is his penis.
Yeah.
The moment that the new women walked on the shore, this man was spread wide open.
Let's go.
Let's do it. No regrets. Going in full force. And he kept talking about Jill too. He kept saying like,
she's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's wonderful. We'd have a great relationship.
But it is the beach. And he proceeds to, with Kate, I think we see our most sensual, extreme makeout of the season so far.
Extreme is definitely the right word.
It was extreme.
Extreme is the right word. That actually frightened me.
There was ass grabbing. There was straddling.
They were the ones that were kissing like...
It was a full,
right? That was them?
lips over face type makeout. It was... And that's then when he couldn't stand up. But then later, when we see them on the daybed and Kate they're in some sort of position intertwined, we hear Kate in her ITMs saying that Jacob is definitely not her typical type and that she is on her way to needing to get whatever she needs to get. So what I'm gathering is that Kate wants that rose.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, I was not following what you were saying. Yeah, no, totally. She's gonna play the game and she's gonna do what she needs to do, and I respect her.
I respect it too. She's like, I see Jacob. I mean, I can get this guy's rose, and I'm gonna get the rose. This man is not my type. I think he's hot though, so whatever, enjoy. And I'm gonna get my rose, and maybe there's someone specific coming down the steps later for Kate.
Go girl.
She came in with a strategy.
Jacob's gonna look a mess after all of that.
She came in with a strategy. We love to see a strategy on the beach, though I feel terrible for Jill because Jill has literally been through hell and back on this series. Jill has been through hell and back, but she has given us beautiful television and we thank her for that.
God.
But we love when someone comes in like Kate with the strategy and Jacob will be made to look a fool when he gets burned.
It has been a mess and a half for her, poor thing.
Because he's going to burn Jill, and then immediately after, Kate will burn Jacob. Yeah.
Speaking of burning, let's finally bring it to Rodney and Lace, which we didn't see how that resolves.
That's the finale. Oh, one more in between. So sorry, just have to mention Jasenia and Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
So while Tyler and Brittany might be having their moment.
Weren't they both on the... Am I tripping? Weren't they both on the beach last year?
Andrew was not, but Jasenia was.
Andrew was on the beach.
No.
Did she have a thing with?
Chris, Ivan.
Right.
There was some drama there. Now.
Oh, yeah, Ivan's not on the beach yet.
I don't think he's coming.
Yeah.
But,
why don't you think he's coming?
just because he has his...
it was a nightmare.
Well, because first of all, remember his Ivan's experience on the beach? Yeah, I don't think he wants to do round 2 of that. But Jasenia and Andrew definitely seem to know each other through Bachelor, hangs or whatever. And, with Brittany and Tyler chatting and now Andrew and Jasenia talking, I just have to say I loved watching the way Jasenia handled everything. She came in, she obviously wanted to get to know Andrew, and she did so in such a respectful way of having conversations about where he's at with Brittany, but then also letting him know where she's at.
Right.
And then romantically pursuing him, making this beautiful little setup for him, being very communicative and direct about how she feels.
Yeah.
And then telling him she wants to be a safe place for him. So even if that means that maybe they don't work out, that she wants to be here for him. I thought it was a 10. I thought it was fantastic.
Also, I was going to mostly talk about Rodney and Jill, but Rodney and Eliza are vibing so hard on each other.
Rodney and Eliza are the new Brandon and Serene.
Yeah.
These two are in love.
I really like them together.
They're amazing.
They look great together. They
stunning.
Are feeling great together, obviously.
Can you believe after that initial kiss, his reaction, he pulled back and was like so shook by how good it was, and was like, oh my God, whoa, this is crazy. Like the chemistry must have just been through the roof with that kiss.
Yep. They felt it with each other.
And she is absolutely just stunning, adorable.
Yeah.
Seems like the nicest person.
Yeah.
And everyone knew. All of Rodney's friends knew the second Eliza walked out. They all said, we all knew that Rodney was here for Eliza. So as soon as she walked out. Was she a big
player on What's His Face's season? Or not really?
I think like midway. She made it like halfway, I think.
Okay, because she's really gorgeous. And I just was doesn't seem like she's gotten really, I don't know, the spotlight up until now. But yeah, I think that they're going to have something quite special with each other.
I mean, these two are just over the moon. Their dinner together, it was like they were just fawning over one another.
Yep.
Simultaneously, Lace was... I knew that she really liked him, but I was like, oh shit, Lace really likes him. So obviously the split week was terrible. And then who knew it was so easy that you could just drive on over back to the beach if you wanted to have a discussion with
I like
your
how they took her down that weird back of the hotel, like in the weird like garbage area.
Yeah, they're like, we can't have anyone see her.
I know. Yeah, why did they do that?
I have no idea. It was
probably because they would have to like blur out a bunch of faces and like she could like walk through the front lobby to the parking area. But
everyone's
still,
just like
it was so dramatic to have her be like walking down this weird like fire escape route.
So dramatic.
Yeah. Oh God, and she must have known what was coming too, right? Like, why else would producers let someone go?
It's funny you say that because when I was watching it, I'm like, there's no way she doesn't know he's with someone.
Girl.
Because she's done this so many times before. She knows they're not gonna let you see him if he's like happily waiting for you back at the beach.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way they'd let Serene go.
Right.
Or Genevieve go when there's nothing going down.
Right.
Or Victoria.
Right. That's exactly my thought too. But do you think she knew though?
I think seemed like she was a little caught up in emotion, that maybe it wasn't even a process.
She did not fucking care.
What I wonder is, did she ask or did they offer? That's the big question, a good point. Right? Were they like, you should go talk to him? Or was she like, please let me go talk to him?
Either or, you know that, like you said, Serene and all these other girls are like, you know, I miss my man that I have like a more serious thing with.
Yeah.
And they're not being allowed to go be with their man. So it sort of is just like,
I know.
Girl, don't you know what's coming?
Well, she walked down and it was one of the more uncomfortable moments.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
With all the men sitting there.
Yeah.
And she just says, where's Rodney? And Brandon's like, where's Serene?
How are the women doing? How's Serene?
His face, he literally was just like, no, but please, the girls.
I saw memes about it and
where are they?
Dying.
Do they miss us? Has she said anything about me? Has she sent for me? My love, my light, my everything. I mean, he's just like, please throw us a bone and tell us what are the women doing.
She was not even for sweet Brandon. She was not budging.
No. Poor Brandon, he was just panicking. It was like he had one moment of maybe touching, just a moment to touch the tips of Serene's fingers. He's like, give me just a lifeline, Lace. And it's like, nope, you're not going to tell me anything about Rodney. I'm not saying anything about the women.
Okay, I get why the guys didn't want to say anything about Rodney, but also I'm like, come on, guys, just prep her so she doesn't have to see it come down and be like, I mean, I know they said that he was on a date, but I think
what would you have done?
Good friend... Ideally, if I could, who knows what I would actually do in the moment. I'm sure producers always said, don't say a thing to her.
Well, did you hear what she said as soon as they asked her a question?
What?
They said something about the women. She goes, don't ask questions. I can't talk about it. You hear
she said,
her
I can't talk
say,
about it?
like,
I can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it. Don't ask questions.
which is, she couldn't reveal that so what you were saying earlier about like they probably were like, Lace,
don't tell
if you ever want any opportunity on the show again, don't know why she would want it, do not say a damn word.
So if you though,
if I was the guys,
if you weren't restricted, if you could say whatever, the producers weren't like,
you can't say something. What
do you say?
Well, look, even if the producer said don't go into details, I would probably just be like Lace, I'd be like, you want to come know what's going down? Come here. Or I would just say it. I probably would take her aside and I'd be like, dude, he has moved on, and I really think like for your sake it might be best if you just like leave. Otherwise it's gonna become like a whole thing and it might be just like really embarrassing. But I think he's like really into this girl, and I don't know if
I think I agree. I
think you guys are on different pages. I think that's like a way that you could say that.
I agree with you, because it's like,
I just felt like it was dragging it out for her. It was already miserable, you know?
Yeah, no, it's like you don't want to speak for him, but at the same time, it's just like it's so blatant.
Yeah,
you're just like what's her face, Kristen Wiig, her character. You're like Kristen Wiig character. Kristen Wiig's character from SNL, where she's the person who can't keep secrets because she gets so excited, and like the lace comes down and she's like, and you're like, I can't say anything. He fell in love. They kissed 2 seconds after he left. I think they're gonna get married. He doesn't want you to know. He's a great guy. We love her. I can't say anything.
Oh God.
Just can't keep anything in. You're like,
I mean, it would have been like the best for her at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Well, I now wonder. Now this is the big question on my lips. Is obviously Rodney's coming down. He's gonna break. She sees them. Oh, Becca.
What?
When they walk down and they're holding hands,
what?
You literally hear the men go, "Oh no, Rodney!" Not the hand holding. And so it's like she obviously knows. Of course, he's not expecting her there. So of course they're gonna have this conversation that is gonna be so rough. And like I've said 100 times during this episode, it's the nature of this episode is to hate the producers, then be very, very happy for Rodney and Eliza, like how beautiful their love, and then feel bad for Lace, because I think in almost every circumstance on these past 2 episodes, minus pizza.
Oh God, there's no one that even
in general, I think everyone, like no one's. It's just people trying to navigate relationships. Yeah. And it's not hero villain business. It's just people. And sometimes, yes, things should be communicated more clearly or better or differently. Yeah. And it's like, it is true that someone is hurting and then something's happy. Oh, and it's just my Libras all over the place.
I know.
Anywho, the question is, when Rodney, after he tells Lace, will she go back and get to know some of the other men? Or will she be like, fuck paradise and be gone? What do you think?
She's gonna say fuck paradise and be gone.
Okay.
Well, yeah, she's gonna leave. What do you think?
I would imagine, but also Lace can be a wild card.
You never know.
I could see her walking straight back into the villa and being like, who's taking me on a date right now?
Oh, for sure.
It's my birthday.
Oh, for sure.
That would be such an iconic move. Let yourself feel and cry, and then take your ass back to the villa and go, producers, we're going to pretend it's my birthday again and do a whole fake birthday once more and have the whole villa.
Girls get in on it.
Yeah, we're doing a whole fake birthday, have all these men celebrate me.
Oh, iconic. Man. Yeah, I think she's leaving. I think she's toast. Yeah, and it looks like Brittany then and Tyler in the upcoming weeks have something. It looks like potentially Victoria and Alex have something going.
But then we see her back at the beach talking with Johnny, being like, I feel like I cheated on you. So I think she's sticking with Johnny.
Yeah. Although...
But... a week can change a lot, everybody.
A week can change a lot.
And we see that in the previews because we see everyone sleeping and sad and not wanting to engage. And then all of a sudden, maybe about 48 hours later, it's like, let's go on some dates, baby. I got enough sleep. I got my rest. I caught up.
Let's get things moving. Oh, man.
Well, I'm really excited to see this next episode.
I hope next week is really popping off.
I really believe it will. And I can't lie and tell you that even though it is torturous, I can't wait to watch them all reunited again.
Yeah.
That I am so looking forward to because that will be so messy.
It'd be good.
And then also so joyful for like the Brandons and Serenes who just
keep on trucking on.
only have eyes for one another.
Keep on trucking on.
Broads,
All right.
make sure to tune into the Bros tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, a special episode.
Oh, Spooky Halloween.
Our Spooky Halloween episode with Roz.
That'd be fun.
Yes,
All
our
right,
annual
Broads.
queen. All right.
Chat
Love you,
soon.
Broads.